Hi folks, how you doing? It's James, JT at the movies. I'm just shooting a cheeky little intro to part 2 of mine and Laura's Alien vs Predator marathon that we completed and filmed over the New Year's Day weekend of coming into 2021. Let's kick off with that now. Cheers. Now then folks, we have just finished Alien vs Predator. Do you know what? I've always enjoyed this film. And I think it's probably nostalgia from being a kid, because as he always did, Dad let me watch films that I shouldn't have been watching when I were a young lad, and let me watch Predator one night when Mum were out somewhere, and so when Alien vs Predator came out in 2004 and I'd have been 12, I was like, I need to see that. Anyway, obviously couldn't go to the cinema to see it, and they wouldn't get me the DVD, but a lad who lived down the street from us got the DVD. So I ended up lending it off of him and watching it and loving it, and that was really my introduction to Alien. Was this film, and I've always had a soft spot for it. I prefer the extended cut to the theatrical cut, and funnily enough, even though this is not one of my favourite films and not something I regularly come back to, just by chance, this year we've watched both cuts, because we've just watched the extended cut now, and then a few months ago when we were round at your parents'.
Watched,
your mum and dad had the the standard theatrical cut on, so have seen both recently. Prefer the extended cut. It's set in the present day, set around 2004. It also introduces where Bishop links into the Weyland company. It turns out that Bishop is basically Weyland is one of the sort of the founders of the company, as it were. And I know they sort of retcon that a little bit later on in Prometheus. Well, you've not seen that yet, but you will do. But they do something with the chap that Guy Pearce plays. But yeah, that I like that was the inspiration. And Bishop's the only character to be killed by an alien and a predator, which is cool. But yeah, the plot is that Bishop pulls this team of experts in their fields together to go and explore a pyramid found 2,000 metres under the ice in Antarctica that's just all of a sudden shown up on satellite thermal imaging scans. They go there, and it turns out that it's a pyramid built by the Predators to house the aliens for ancient hunts that used to take place, and they basically used to use the humans as sacrifices to manifest the aliens, and it's basically just come round on its clock again, which is what's activated it. But now, because there's obviously modern technology and satellites, and that's basically what sort of kicked it off. I love it. It's just popcorn daft fun. Is this one? It knows what it is. You know, it's a Batman versus Superman, a Freddy versus Jason sort of thing. They're not trying to. There's no definitive winner really, because you think Predator's won, and then the alien bursts out of the Predator at the end, and it's exactly the same as Jason's walking away holding Freddy's head, and
Freddy's head winks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Batman versus Superman, they knock the fight on the head, don't they, to tackle Doomsday, which actually looked like that human hybrid thing in the last one that we watched. Like I said, this film isn't anything to write home about, but it feels like it knows that.
Yeah, definitely.
It doesn't feel like it's gone in trying to make an Oscar-worthy film. Well, I've rambled on a bunch, so what did you think?
I liked it. I think you were saying about this being popcorn fun and everything. It definitely holds the mantle for that, but I really liked it. The fact that they were putting Alien versus Predator against Predator and everything, and the whole fight scene that comes from that. I liked that. I think throughout the films I've watched, I think I'm leaning more towards Predator as my favourite. Don't get me wrong, Alien is brilliant, but I think I do prefer Predator, just because I think he's that little bit more intelligent and a little bit smarter in what he does, if you know what I mean. Liked this film, actors were brilliant. I liked how they brought Bishop into it, like you were saying. Really good plot, really good settings, very, very atmospheric in certain scenes. There was one scene that really freaked me out. This guy's trying to crawl through this little cavern that's rising up to the ceiling. It made me a bit anxious in that.
Yeah, it sort of did, it paid homage to various horror tropes and cliches, and obviously its own source material. There were, lots of nods and winks back to the original, like there's the bit where the floor collapses out from under one guy and he finds himself in a tunnel. Yeah. And rather than doing the bit that they did with Tom Skerritt in the original, where it, sort of turns around and it's like, It's, it happens off camera, so there's a few bits like that that were pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's a subjective review. Is this for this time round? I'm giving that a 7 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
There you go. So the last film we're going to watch for tonight, and then we'll aim to get the franchise finished tomorrow. We're going to take a gander and see how far we get into Requiem. Spoilers. Don't like this one. It's see you after that. Hi folks, welcome back. For you it's been 2 seconds, for us it's been overnight. This is day 3, the final day of our Alien vs Predator marathon, and boy did we finish with a stinker last night. We watched Alien vs Predator Requiem. Now I'll give it its due, it was better than I remember it being. I saw this in the cinema with the lads when it came out in 2007, and really didn't enjoy it. Thought it was a real missed sort of opportunity, and just bad. And then when I got into collecting movies and buying everything, it was one of those where I'm not as bad with it now, but when I first started collecting, if I got something in a series, I got the whole series. And even if I knew that I didn't like a film, whereas now I'm comfortable with maybe just having 1 or 2 entries in a series if I know that they're only going to be the ones I'll watch. Anyway, that's an aside. So that's how I came to have it on Blu-ray anyway, because I've got the rest of them on Blu-ray. So we popped it on last night. It wasn't as bad as I remember it being, but it still wasn't good. Do you know what I didn't like about it, Law? Was that obviously the Alien movies sort of, they have their sort of set goal, don't they? It's sort of like they're not trying to weave other stories into it. It's something's going on and we get a bit of a setup as to why the characters are in the situation that they're in. Then the alien turns up and it's all just about the alien. Same with the Predator movies. Is there's a bit of a setup, bit of exposition, and then creature shows up and then it's all just about that. Whereas with this, they were trying to do the whole sort of like small town sort of. You know the type of film, like the early 2000s coming of age American teenage drama thing, and then trying to put Alien and Predator into that, and it just didn't work. The acting's not great either. It's really, really forgettable, and yeah, I mean, obviously I know it gets sort of riffed on a lot, the fact that a lot of it's at night and it's really dark and you can't really see what's going on a lot of the time, and I just didn't care for any of the characters. And
not really, no.
No. Basic plot, obviously, it takes place literally mere moments after the first one has ended. The Pred alien is sort of ejected, as it were, and ends up crashing in sort of like rural Colorado, in this small town. And then obviously it wreaks havoc. The police get involved, the army get involved, and we follow this group of high school kids and this army veteran and her daughter, and they all end up sort of coming together. And you just really don't care about any of these characters at all, do you?
Not really, no.
Your first time watching it, what were your thoughts?
I didn't enjoy it. There were certain scenes I did, but it was mainly when the Pred alien was around and doing its thing. I love how they combined Predator and Alien. I will say that. I love how they've combined that. I thought that was pretty funny. They've got the dreadlocks in there as well. But other than that, I didn't really care much, like you were saying, about the story arcs of the other characters.
They tried to do too much with it, and it's just a real missed opportunity.
Yeah.
But, like I say, to give it its credit, it wasn't as bad as I remember it being. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10.
I think I'm going to go for the same as well.
There we go. So, we're going to start day 3 now with Robert Rodriguez's 2010 entry, which is Predators. So, we're back, and it's after Predators now, which is the first film we watched today. Not a bad film, this. I haven't seen it since it first came out on DVD. I remember trailing Dad around back when we lived at the old house. And I remember him trailing me around all the different shops to try and get it, because nowhere had seemed to have stocked the DVD when it first came out. We managed to find it, funnily enough, in the supermarket just down the road from where we actually live now. But watched it, thoroughly enjoyed it, and then never came back to it. And then a couple of years or so ago, I upgraded my Predator set to this set, which has got the first 3 films of the series in it, probably about the time when The Predator came out. And had yet to sit down and re-watch it, but obviously we've just done that now. Right, enjoyed it, you know.
Yeah, pretty decent, yeah. I liked it.
Yeah, so we've got a whole bunch of mismatched mercenaries from various different sort of backgrounds and countries that all wake up in this sort of like Amazon-like jungle. They don't know where they are, how they got there. They all just seem to have been abducted out of their day-to-day lives and dropped into this. Literally, the opening shot of the film is Adrian Brody's character Royce parachuting down into a jungle. He's asleep while he's doing it, and comes around and is like, "What?" And you know the titles come up, sort of thing. It turns out that it's an alien planet, and they've been put there because on Earth they would be sort of like predators themselves. Mercenaries, soldiers, militia, that sort of thing. There's a couple of murderers in there, and so that they've been put on this planet by the predators for predators to be hunted by predators, sort of thing. And obviously they're just trying to find a way off the planet, and they go on that journey from there, really. There's 4 predators on the planet with them, and sort of they have some really cool interactions with them, and there's some slightly different designs as well, which I really liked, sort of like how they brought, like, what I would assume would be like different like military rankings or whatever. Like they had one guy with tusks, and then another guy had a different bit sort of going on at the mouthpiece, and then there was somebody in like the classic sort of predator that we know and love sort of get up, and there was something slightly different as well. I right enjoyed this one. I thought it sort of built on the sort of the environment and the setting of the first one, and then gave it a real nice sort of new flavour, if you like, a bit of a twist. I right enjoyed it.
I did as well. I like the idea of them being sort of dropped into a game hunting environment. Sort of give it a bit of a hunted / battle royale feel to it, I think. Instead of them killing each other, they're being hunted by the predators. I really liked that, because I know that's never a position you or I could survive in. No, we'd be useless in that scenario. But I really liked that feel to it, how they're having to seek protection themselves and try to get away from these predators, and the whole planet is a hunting ground.
Yeah, absolutely good fun with this one. I think, do you know what? It was just great popcorn fun with this one. It doesn't try too hard to be anything that it's not. It just takes, a really good sort of movie monster in the Predator, and takes a real good cast of characters and some really great actors in this. Obviously Adrian Brody, Topher Grace, and Danny Trejo, Lawrence Fishburne, Walter Goggins. I can't remember what the young lady's name is that plays the Hispanic lady, but she was really great as well. You know the drill by now, folks. I'll put a title with the person's name.
I love how they had a call back to the original Predator film as well.
Yeah, she sort of is the one that gives the exposition and moves the plot forward. It's not really revealed how she knows. It would have. Do you know? I think it'd have been nice if they'd have maybe turned around and said, "Oh, well, my mum was once in the Guatemalan jungle," sort of thing, and maybe made her the daughter of the character from the first one or whatever. But
that'd have been good.
But hey ho, I enjoyed it. I'm gonna go 6 out of 10.
I'm gonna go 6.5 out of 10.
There we go. So the next 2 films we're gonna watch are going to be Prometheus, which is obviously the prequel to all the Alien stuff, and then Alien Covenant, which is sort of to set the gap, basically bridge the gap, between Prometheus and the original Alien. So those are going to be the next couple of films, but we'll see you after Prometheus. Folks, we've just finished watching Prometheus. Really enjoyed this,
Yeah, it was really good. I liked it.
Yeah, it's the first time I've watched it since again back getting the DVD. I've recently upgraded to this Blu-ray from a shop that I've mentioned in a couple of my videos, Trade Me in Leeds. They had it for £1.50, and I knew we were going to be doing this, so I thought, well, it's only one I haven't got, so I'll pick it up on Blu-ray, as it were. Anyway, it looked absolutely spectacular on the TV, and I really, really enjoyed this. I remember not loving it, but not hating it when I first watched it. But the only time I'd ever watched it was round at a mate's house, and whilst we had movies on, we were having a natter, and it would just a bit of a lad's night more than it would, sort of sitting down to specifically watch a movie. So I would imagine I probably didn't pay as much attention as I needed to, where obviously this time we've sat down, we've given it its due attention. I really liked the cast. Noomi Rapace is absolutely fantastic. Idris Elba, Charlize Theron, Guy Pearce is in there as well, and a whole host of others as well. Really, really liked them. Thought the special effects were great. It looked visually stunning on the TV. And yeah, I really, really quite enjoyed it, to be fair. Which I wasn't expecting to, so quite a pleasant surprise, actually.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting what I saw either. I really liked it. The visual effects were absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
They really were. As well, yeah. Michael Fassbender's character, he just...
How did I forget Michael Fassbender in that cast list?
His character, obviously he's a droid in this, but the way he looks and the way they've made him look is absolutely brilliant. Like, I didn't trust him from the start, but...
No. Prefers the term artificial human,
artificial human.
That's what Bishop says in Aliens, isn't
yeah.
it? No, Fassbender's great. And I liked as well that it sort of did the whole call back to, to Ash in the first one as well. Sort of like he's got his directive from his boss and that's all he cares about, and he'll make pleasantries with you until he's blue in the face, but, nothing's going to sort of take him off of what he needs to do. And yeah, obviously this is set in the alien world. This is pre-alien, and goes some of the ways to explaining how the aliens came to be. The crew on this particular mission are basically, they're scientists and archaeologists and explorers on Earth, and they're looking for the origin of where did we come from, and trying to sort of answer that age-old question as to whether there's a god or all of that sort of stuff. And they believe through the cave drawings and the information that they found on Earth that they've tracked us down to to this far-reaching planet, and the Wayland Company decide that they're going to fund a mission out into deep space to go and basically try and get that question answered. And then, as it is with all the other films in this series, when they get there, all hell breaks loose. Yeah, I don't think there's much more to say about it other than that I enjoyed it, and I'm hoping that when I rewatch Covenant, I get a similar sort of level of enjoyment, because again, when I watched that, didn't really care for it. And we watched that only a couple of years ago when it came out. We watched the Blu-ray downstairs, so I'm hoping that I enjoy it just a little bit more this time, maybe watching them in series. Anything else to add for you, or?
Not really, just that I really liked it, and it was definitely a lot better than I was expecting. Yeah.
Very good. Well, I'm going to give that 7.5 out of 10.
Same here.
There we go, folks. Well, the next film is going to be Alien Covenant, and then we'll be wrapping this whole thing up with 2018's Predators, which to date is the latest entry into the series. But we'll see you after Alien Covenant. We've finished Alien Covenant. So, yeah, I enjoyed this actually a lot more than when we first watched it a couple of years ago. In fact, I barely remembered any of the third act the last time. And I thought that the third act was all the stuff with David revealing that he was still a bad guy, and sort of the double cross. But I'd forgotten pretty much everything after they leave the planet where they find David. So it was almost like watching it from new again for me. I didn't mind this. Basic plot, obviously, it's the same as all the Alien movies. They end up responding to some sort of a distress call or getting taken off the mission that they're on, sort of thing, and end up obviously coming into trouble for doing it. We meet a new crew with this one, and they're on their way to colonise a planet. They get this distress call, as I mentioned, and their recently appointed captain, basically trying to curry some favour with the team, says, well, why don't we take a break from the mission in hand and go and check this out? So they do. They get there, they meet David, and all hell breaks loose. And there are two types of aliens. There's the traditional alien that we've seen throughout the franchise, and then there's one which is sort of born of the creature that we saw at the end of Prometheus. And they're both running amok and picking off the crew of the film one by one till there's only a couple of them left. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I probably enjoyed it a little bit less than I enjoyed Prometheus, but I didn't mind it at all. Laura, what would you think?
I liked it. I thought it was very action-packed. I think I'm in the same boat as you, though. I think I prefer Prometheus to this. But don't get me wrong, this had its moments. There were some really freaky bits in it that I really liked.
There was,
yeah. Definitely. The ending reveal was really good. I love how that was all played out.
I'd forgotten that was coming. I didn't know for certain, but I sort of turned to you at one point and went, hang on a minute, is he going to be and have they done the switcheroo sort of thing? And yeah, obviously there's a spoiler warning at the beginning of the video, but Michael Fassbender in this plays two droids, or two synthetics as they're called in this universe. He plays David, who's the character from Prometheus, but he also plays another model called Walter. Walter is very much a good guy, David's very much not, and they managed to pull the old switcheroo at the end, so the crew think they've escaped, or the remainder of the crew think they've escaped with Walter, but they haven't, it's with David. What he goes on to do is really, it's not fully explored, sort of thing, but it's sort of that almost cliffhanger ending sort of thing as the lead two characters realise that they've been that they've been had, sort of thing.
I think what we're meant to reveal is maybe he either crashes the ship or he coughs up two of them.
He's got two eggs. He sort of coughs them up, and they've got little face huggers inside them, sort of like egg sized, but they're obviously, so he's planning trouble. I know that there's plans for a third movie in this prequel series. Even as recently as November 2020, Ridley Scott said that there's active work now that the whole Disney Fox merger thing's happened and it's all secured, that there is active work on a part 3. I still really think that, fair enough, Prometheus came out, and if you wanted to do the whole where did everything come from sort of passion project bit, in his later career, well, that's fair enough. But I really do not like the fact that this project was the reason why Alien 5 or Alien 3.5 or whatever they were going to call it, the Neil Blomkamp sort of sequel to Aliens that would have had Sigourney Weaver come back and Michael Biehn, and also an adult actress playing a grown-up Newt, and carried on with those guys. I think it's a real shame, because I think that would have been definitely the better film over this one. Did enjoy it. I'm going to go with a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm going to go 6 out of 10 as well.
Fair enough. So, we're on to now our last film of this movie marathon, which is 2018's The Predator. So, we're done. We have just finished watching 2018's The Predator on Blu-ray. Picked that Blu-ray up when it came out. Saw it in the cinema with the lads. The film absolutely got panned at the time. Absolute slating. But me and the lads that I went to see it with, a group of lads that I work with, we made a night of it. Went for some food and then went to see that. And we all loved it. And all come out and said, yeah, it was brilliant with that. Just what you'd expect from a Predator film. I suppose we didn't go into it with too higher hopes or high expectations, I suppose. I right like the writing of this. Shane Black, who was actually in the first one as one of the commandos, writes it, but obviously he's had a lot to do with stuff like the Lethal Weapon movies, and he did The Nice Guys recently, and he's got that sort of that knack for writing action comedy sort of thing, and he's quite good with some of the comedic lines, and as such, some of the banter that the guys had in this worked really well for my taste, at least. I really liked the two leads. You got Olivia Munn as Casey, and you got Boyd Holbrook as McKenna. I thought that they played off each other really well, and then the supporting cast, Thomas Jane and what's his face now, Key & Peele. Which one is
Keegan.
it?
Keegan-Michael Key.
Keegan-Michael Key. Yeah.
Jake Busey as well.
Jake Busey's in it, playing the son of the character that his dad played in the second one, which was a nice sort of nod and a wink sort of thing. But yeah, the basic plot of this is that there's a predator that's gone sort of rogue against his own kind, because predators intend to basically come and colonise Earth so that they can have it as their new planet to inhabit. And there's like a lot of sort of nods and winks and things to climate change in there. But this predator goes rogue and wants to bring some technology to Earth so that Earth can defend itself against the predators. So that predator crash lands. Boyd Holbrook's character in the opening scenes of the film sees it, and that's what sets everything off in motion. And then sort of like the sort of the law enforcement on the predator side of things sends somebody down to get the rogue predator. So the predator's there trying to make contact with the humans, but the humans are battling it, thinking it's an enemy. And then you've got this other sort of predator that's chasing everybody sort of thing, and it all works really well. It's just a great little action sort of adventure sort of thing. What did you think, Sweet?
I liked it. Just what you were saying, obviously, about it, the whole thing being a sort of great little action adventure. I like how it was all written. You've got this one predator who was trying to help the humans. So yeah, these people are coming. They're going to turn your planet into this. You don't want that. Take this technology, and they just don't believe it. They're trying to fight him. I liked that. I thought that was really funny the way they did that. And then you've got the big bad one who's...
Yeah, and he was really scary, and like the predator dogs were quite funny as well.
Were as well.
I just enjoyed it. You know, it's just popcorn fun, much like Alien versus Predator is, or something like Alien Resurrection. It's popcorn fun. If you don't go into it taking it too seriously, then you know, you can have a good time with it, sort of thing. It's not as good as the first two, of course. It's not. It's probably not even as good as Predators that came before it. But it is still you know, a solid entry into the franchise as well. I know it got its complaints around, obviously, how it's maybe handled sort of mental illness and autism as well. And I can understand where those complaints would come from. I still enjoyed the film and found that there were things in there to enjoy, and I'm looking forward to the next one that they've said that they're doing. So I know that the whole Disney merger with Fox, like we talked about with the Alien one, sort of, you know, put things on ice a little bit. But they're going to do a prequel next, and it's going to be set during the American Civil War, and it's going to be about the Predator's first visit to Earth. So that should be quite interesting as well, because obviously they won't have the technology, and I just think it'll make for an interesting dynamic in a Predator movie. Let's hope that it's not like Tremors 4 or whatever, like, you know, where they bring all the cast from the original Tremors back and then sort of just set it 100 years previous. Let's hope they don't do something like that.
No.
But this has been loads of fun. And a nice opportunity for us to sort of break in this new movie room.
Yeah, definitely.
And for me to show you some movies I've been dying to show you for years. And yeah, any final thoughts, Laura?
I've really enjoyed it. I think I've definitely come to the conclusion I prefer the Predator over Alien. Definitely, I just think he's a lot more badass. Yeah, I think I do. I've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, now do you know, I would probably, in terms of if we were rating like the creatures, you know, the actual aliens themselves, I'd probably say that I'll prefer Predator over the Xenomorph. But I think on the whole, I've possibly enjoyed the Alien films a little more than the Predator ones. I don't know.
As an individual monster, I prefer Predator, but with the films, I think I prefer the Alien films. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we were almost going to forget what we give that 1 out of 10. I would give that a 7 out of 10 that we've just watched.
Yeah, 7. 7 out of 10.
So there you have it, folks. That's been our Alien versus Predator marathon, as we've called it there. I think we've both said that we prefer Predator as a creature. I personally prefer the Alien films. Which series of films did you prefer, would you say?
Just say, going off that, I prefer the Alien films, definitely. I prefer Predator, but the films as a whole, definitely the Alien ones.
Absolutely. So there you go. So I suppose it's kind of a tie, really, as to who won for us. So if you've liked this video, leave us a thumbs up. What's your thoughts on these two franchises, or this franchise as a collective whole? Leave your thoughts down below in the comments. I'd love to have a natter about it. If you liked this video and you like videos talking about collecting films, reviewing films, doing silly movie marathon challenges like this, just enjoying films and DVDs and Blu-rays as a whole, think about subscribing to the channel, because that's what I'm all about, and as we go further into 2021, that's the sort of content that I'm going to be bringing you. Above all else, please take care of yourselves, and from me and Laura, we shall see you very, very soon.